And welcome back, everybody, to another exciting edition of the TV show podcast. My name is Jay Black, joined as always by the wine drinking Rhea Hughes, that delicious
There we go.
wine that Angelo brought up last week, and the sober, stone cold sober Angelo Cataldi. You don't want him sloppy on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, not at all. And
Mm-mm.
we're going to just jump right into things and start with the big TV event of the week that I know Rhea didn't watch, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But Angelo, did you
Good
watch?
decision, Rhea. Good decision.
Well, okay. So let's throw it. You watched the Golden Globes. What did you think of the show itself, and specifically, Angelo, what did you think of Nikki Glaser as the host coming in and doing her job?
Let me start the show in general. All right. I think I have always watched almost all of the award shows because I have shows I root for, or movies I root for, or actors or actresses I root for, or sometimes even directors I root for. I'm I'm trying to wean myself off it because the decisions that are made in award shows, especially the last 10 years, are ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And this was the ultimate. Jeremy Allen White
I knew
won
you were going to bring this up. I knew.
for best actor in a comedy for The Beer. Season
Season three?
3.
No,
Rhea, first
no,
of all,
no,
right, it's not a comedy.
no,
That's the first problem.
Right.
Second problem is season 3 was a train wreck, and he didn't help it. He
no.
wasn't any. It all was bad. Here's the amazing part of it. They showed there were 6 nominees, and they showed all the 6 up. The other 5 guys were there, and Jeremy Allen White didn't even show up for the Golden Globe.
Wow.
No.
And Rhea, I'm looking at the other boxes. It's like the Brady Bunch where they got
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
All 5 of the other guys were better than the guy that won it. He finished 6th in my vote, and I had
Wow.
seen them all, and he got the best actor. And it's like, give me a freaking break, will you please? So to answer your question, it was as usual, wholly unsatisfying.
Yeah.
And Nikki Glaser, who I have been a fan of for a long time, I used to listen to her show on Sirius. She had a radio show I would hear. She's very talented and quite attractive. And I
Yes.
thought she did an excellent job.
I
I
Oh,
was
thought
wow.
it was really good, but it didn't save the dreck that followed. She even kept it short, leaving more time for horrible programming for the next 2 hours and 50 minutes. It was awful.
I just want to jump in and say I was worried you were going to go into a path of Nikki Glaser wasn't good. That buildup made me nervous because I thought she was phenomenal. I thought she did a
It was
great
good.
job. And Rhea, you said you were going to check out the monologue. Did you get a chance to see her monologue?
Well, I
Or
was trying to, but it was funny. I wound up catching, I guess she was on maybe Stern this week.
Hmm.
Yes,
And
right after.
yeah. And I wish she had told the joke because it would have made, like, it would have gone viral. She said she had a Ben Affleck joke
Right.
with Jennifer Lopez and Jennifer Garner doing with which Jennifer were you going to ruin next?
Yeah.
But I guess didn't have the balls to. She said it got cut at the last minute. But I mean, I haven't seen her monologue yet, and I'll just and I told Jay this, and I said, unlike you, I'm still doing the WIP morning show, and the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings were playing Sunday night for the number
Yeah.
one seed. So
Yeah.
I really had to watch that for work, but I wouldn't have watched the Golden Globes anyway. I do. I I'll be honest. I'm not the only award show I watch and I really enjoy are the Grammys because I love the performances. So
Right.
that's really the only award show that I do watch.
All right.
And
Now let me just say a couple other things here, right, Jay? Because
yeah,
I watch the shows. One of the reasons I watch it is I really love In Memoriam,
yeah,
where they have all the dead people from the year. I love seeing who died because even though I pay close attention, a few always slip through the crack. There's no In Memoriam in Golden Globes. Last 5 years, they haven't done it.
Wow.
Another reason not to bother with it. Uh,
Why? Did they give a reason?
They don't. They said they feel the Oscars and the SAG Awards, which we are in here,
Yeah.
Screen Actors Guild, that those cover the deaths well enough. I like a lot of deaths. I
They
like
sh-
to see all the people with the deaths.
they should
But
have
anyway,
covered the death of Joe Coy's career after he hosted last year.
Wow.
well, he stinks anyway. He's not funny. We had him on a show once. It was awful. All right. Demi Moore was terrific with her speech. It was very moving. I enjoyed that part. Jennifer Coolidge, that woman is just really weird, and
Yeah.
she was super weird in it. And Zoe Saldana, has she stopped talking yet? My God, get the heck off the thing. There was a few good things in it. Nikki was good the whole time, I thought, and the best line, because I was rooting my butt off for Jackal, the day of the Jackal and Eddie Redmayne, and he didn't win anything either. And she said in it, this was a great line. She said, in a Day of the Jackal, Eddie Redmayne plays a top secret elite sniper who nobody can find, pause, because he's on Peacock. Great line,
Great line.
nailed it. That was my favorite part of the whole thing. And Shogun, enough with Shogun and the awards. I'm tired of it. No, it's not that good. Give me a break.
Agreed, 100%. I'm also going to throw in there, I thought it was a good moment that Kieran Culkin won over Jeremy Strong. So we got a nice Succession flashback as Jeremy Strong just shot daggers with his eyes as Kieran Culkin got up and got his award. And I also thought it was a travesty that Timothy Chalamet did not win for A Complete Unknown, which I don't know if you've seen yet, Angelo. You said you were interested in seeing it, but I thought he was well deserving of an award, and I was mad that he did not win. So, speaking of movies, I want to move into a note that I got from Angelo recently. Yeah, he's covering his head in shame, I think, about my movie taste. I got an email from Angelo that said, "Where did you place The Fall Guy on your list of top movies?" And I knew it was kind of a leading question, Rhea. It was one of those ones where it's like,
Yes.
this is not going to be like, hey, great decision, Jay. I really loved it. And I wrote back, I put it number one because it's a Hollywood movie that I want. I want good looking people doing interesting things. It had real stunts. It was fun. It was breezy. I also could have put Roadhouse in there for the same reasons. And then he wrote back, it was a complete hunk of crap, a waste of time. And I said, we should probably debate this on the air. So, Angelo, tell me why I was wrong about this.
I have decided here, before I do that, I'm going to involve Miss Rhea Hughes.
Yes.
Of all the things that bother me about that horrible movie, 2 hours, 6 minutes, it was just one excuse for another to lead to more special effects, stunt work. How many explosions do you need in 2 hours and 6 minutes? The whole time I was watching it, I was thinking less of Jay Black. But here's the thing that bothered me the most. Rhea, Emily Blunt, great English actress, right?
Yes.
Great,
yep.
Beautiful, married to John Krasinski. What is she doing in this kind of a stupid movie when she has so great acting chops? Why is she wasting her time in The Fall Guy? You've seen her in a lot of stuff. She's great.
I'm going to tell you because I think you're wrong here. I love the movie. It was fun. See, I'm different. Like you and Jay will go watch these amazing movies that are, very deep and all that kind of stuff. In a movie, a lot of times I just want fun. I want a fun, breezy story that I thought Ryan Gosling shocked me with how funny he was.
He was great. He was
hilarious. He was not hilarious. He was pathetic. It was all stunts. What was funny about stunts?
Angelo, when's the last time you've seen a real stunt on screen? They do so many computer-generated things. It was cool to see these guys do it.
What's the difference? Whether they did it with CGI or they did it legit? Who cares?
This guy cares.
There's a moment in the movie, Jack, where a guy says, I prefer cartoons. They're not trying to pretend they're real. This is a cartoon. You understand?
An
but
entertaining
they're trying
cartoon.
to pretend they're real. There's no character development.
It
There's
was
no connection with
acting.
anybody who's in it. What's the point?
Rhea,
This is why I also don't watch the Oscars, because it's all about movies no one sees. This
Wow.
movie was fun. It was fun.
It
yes.
was bad. It was an awful. It's told me the terrible shape that Hollywood is in right now, because there's plenty of room for that kind of a movie. $200 million budget, three big names in it, all that stuff, and no room for a great story well told. There's no room now for that kind of a movie. Jay, you got to admit, as a screenwriter, there should be room for both options, shouldn't
There,
there?
there should be. The economics of Hollywood is a different discussion. And yes, 100%. The idea of doing a $20 million movie that's a middling hit, like makes 50 million on a $20 million
Yeah.
budget, nobody wants that anymore. So they're all doing these giant tentpole movies that the studio has to live or die on. And I don't like that, but I did like The Fall Guy. And I'm going to put it to our audience. Please, there's a
Oh,
fan mail button. You tell me who's right, Angelo
I'm
or
right.
me.
I'm right. I'm right.
And
And,
I also want to
and
take a
one
moment
other
to
thing.
thank whoever, I think it was our friend Ken wrote in and told me that I must have imbibed a little too heavily at my New Year's party because I listed Air as one of my favorite movies of 2024, even though it came out in March of 2023. That's
Oh,
not,
that's not
it was a
good.
bad
Yeah.
move on my
Now,
part.
we should have caught that.
Yeah,
That's
so
not
I
good
mean,
at
I don't know
all.
what's going on in my brain, but time is
Look, I
certainly
need one
ticking
other
away.
second. Jay, I
Yeah.
need 1 second here. I know Emily Blunt watches this. Emily, Emily, I'm asking you. I love you. I think you're amazing. I love your husband, John Krasinski. I love what they do, the silent movie. Remember when nobody could talk, the monsters were coming?
Yeah.
God, that must have been really
Right.
interesting.
But here's the thing, Emily, get back to movies where you could show what you can do, not stupid movies that blow something up every 10 minutes.
But
You're
Ange, don't you think
you're
sometimes
above that.
actors and actresses also want to have fun and not do
That's not fun. That wasn't fun
like
for her. She hated it
she didn't look like she was hating. I'm sure she loved the paycheck too.
because she's a good actor. Rhea, stop
Yes.
with paychecks. Money has no meaning in this discussion. No.
Okay.
Tell him, Jay.
I think money has a meaning in literally every discussion we have.
Yes.
And you know what? That's a good transition point to, we care about money a lot, but there's one man on this world that cares about money above all things, even decisions that make 0 cents. If they make him 1 cent, he will do it. And I brought this up because I noticed it on Monday. And I know, Angelo, you're a huge fan of The West Wing. And The West Wing is fully owned. It is an old-timey show when they still were done by the studios. NBC doesn't have a hand in it. It's owned by Warner Brothers, which is owned by the David Zaslav, run by David Zaslav. And as of Monday, if you want to watch The West Wing, you are out of luck. It was taken off of Max, not to go somewhere else, but I imagine just to save a few bucks. There's been no word where it's going to pop up now. And it's just one little show in a vast sea of entertainment that we can all have access to. But I thought it was a very ominous sign because it's still a popular show. People like it. Zaslav made the decision to cut it. Now we don't have it. Angelo, is this the beginning of the end?
I can't help thinking when I think of David Zaslav of a nasty hemorrhoid. If you have a hemorrhoid, right?
While I'm drinking.
You go to a doctor and get it lanced, and then eventually it will heal and it will no longer bother you.
Sure.
David Zaslav is a hemorrhoid on TV that cannot be cured. Every decision he makes hurts people who
Yeah.
want to enjoy HBO, Max, and all the stuff in what was once a tremendously fruitful universe and now offers very little to anyone. This guy is the hack of all hacks. Now, I binged West Wing. It's a phenomenal binge because it's so brilliantly written. Possibly the greatest screenwriter in television history. Afterwards, it wasn't quite as good, but it was still very good because it had so many great actors in it. The fact that you would deny that of people at a time in a political environment where they may want an escape,
Yeah.
like West Wing
Yes.
offers you, is reprehensible. It's horrible. And now no one will have the opportunity to do what I did last year and binge it on Max. And it's just, the man doesn't give a damn about the medium he represents. And that's the worst part.
Rhea, you're a cord cutter like me. Do you
Yeah.
are you regretting that decision? Are we doomed to not see the shows we want to see?
Well, I don't think it's, unfortunately, like, and listen, I enjoy whenever David Zaslav gets ripped on the show because I didn't know him until the
Mhm.
show, and now I despise him like you do. Yesterday, my brother calls me. He's down at the shore house, and he says, "Hey, I found this really cool British show called Happy Valley. It looks pretty cool, but I can't find it on." I said, no, it's because it was on my list. Glenn Macnow has told me about it. He goes, it's saying it's on Prime, but I have to get the AMC plan and play for it show by show. It's 3 seasons, or buy the whole thing. I said, wait a second, I have AMC. I
Yeah.
go to AMC. I can't get it on AMC.
Still got to
I
buy it.
have to go to Prime and pay for the AMC stuff. And I'm going, well, I'm already paying. They took Longmire off, I believe, Netflix. They've taken all these great shows off. And what I believe they're going to start doing, they know they're great shows. And what they're going to do is you'll still have your Prime and your Netflix, but if you want to watch those shows, you're going to have to pay extra for them.
Yeah, and that's the whole promise 5, 10 years ago was you don't
Yeah.
need cable. Cable will gouge you. And then we're getting double gouged by the
Yep.
places that we went to, and it is a shame. But I'll tell you one thing.
Just to let you know, my brother said he found episodes on YouTube on his iPad and he's watching it for free. So there's always an end around.
Yeah, that's what happens. If you don't give
Good.
us
Yeah.
the stuff we want, we pirate it. It's just the way it
Yep.
goes. Now, I'll say one thing. Rhea, are you noticing Angelo's freezing up a little bit, or is he good on your end?
Well, here's the crazy thing is you were freezing, and I thought it was you because you, of course, are again on a boat again. And then Angelo was freezing.
Yeah,
Am I the only one who's not freezing?
you are crystal clear, Rhea. It must be the booze.
Yes,
You
yes.
haven't frozen it already.
Yeah.
I think
No,
it's
well,
the wine. I
you
think
two
the
have both
wine gives you
froze
a better
at
sense.
certain point. Oh, Angelo, it's saying your bandwidth is low. So if you have
Oh,
your
it
cell
is?
phone near you, turn off your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, stop.
Okay.
Angelo,
I'll do
stop
that.
downloading pirated material in the background. It's slowing your link down. Well, I'll tell you one thing that we can all agree on. I mean, we all hate David Zaslav, but there's one guy that we all love. And I think we know, if you've been listening to this show, you know who we love, and that is Mr. Steven Singer. Angelo, now that your phone is off, tell me about Steven Singer.
This is the segue. David Zaslav is a bean counter. He is a man who doesn't care about honesty or integrity or any of that. I still prefer the businessman who is honest and fair-minded. And that's Steven Singer. I wish Steven Singer ran Max because we would all be getting great programming because he places the product above anything else. He gets the best gems you can get, the best jewelry you can find. And then what he does is he assigns a number to it that is a fair price for that item. And I represented him on WIP for over 25 years. Do you know I never once got a complaint, not one single time in all
On
those
WIP,
years?
that's amazing.
Everyone complained.
Yeah.
It's unheard of.
WIP is a complaint center for sports. No
Yeah.
one ever complained. You know why? Because everybody that walked out of the other corner of 8th and Walnut, Steven Singer Jr., knew they've got a good deal, a fair deal. And that's all you can ask of a jeweler. And that man is the best businessman I ever met in any way. I love that man. I hate David Zaslav.
And I'm just going to give, some guys out there a little tip. Valentine's Day is about a little over a month away. So if you want to get something great, go to Steven Singer. You're thinking about proposing, take great care of you. But he'll also soon have the roses, the gold dipped roses, and they will come out in different colors. Angelo, how many does Gail have? Like 2 dozen?
All of them up to 2023. when I retire.
Wow.
I got to go see Steve and get caught up. The last
Well,
couple
Yes.
of
are we conked down on Angelo again there? Yeah. So Steven Singer, you can go to IHateStevenSinger.com. If you go right to the link in this description, you can get it. And as Rhea said, Valentine's Day is coming up. This is the worst corner of gift buying. My wife's birthday is January 31st. So I got Christmas, I got January for my wife's birthday, and then I got Valentine's Day all right in a row. Thank goodness for Steven Singer to make it easy for us. So thank you to our sponsor, Steven Singer. And even more importantly, thank you to Britain for creating so much wonderful TV for our British
Yes.
correspondent, Rhea Hughes, to come in and talk about. What do you got for us this week, Rhea?
So a new thing popped up on Netflix this week. I've told you before, Harlan Coben and Jay, you know this. Harlan Coben did a deal with Netflix that I don't know how much money he's making, but he's got a formula. I guess that's the best way to say it. And you remember you loved Fool Me Once. That's a Harlan Coben. He's got a new one out called Missing You. And it's the main character in it is Detective Inspector Kat Donovan. People who are fans of slow horses will know her as like the best MI5 agent. And so I love her in this. So basically, and it's 5 episodes. It's shockingly short for Netflix, but it is British. So I guess they kind of,
Sure.
did a negotiation, but 5 episodes. It's for sure they entirely stick the landing. But here's what you're going to get from Harlan Coben. Here's what this story is. Kat Donovan is a police officer who investigates missing persons. She is still torn up by the murder, unsolved murder. Well, they thought it was solved, of her police officer father 11 years ago. At the same time, her beloved fiance disappeared for 11 years. She gets embroiled in a missing persons thing. Now, fast forward 11 years, where she's this kid comes and says, "My mom's missing. She went on a date with a guy and she's gone." And mom is a widower, has a lot of money. The kid's like in his 20s. So in between this, Kat Donovan, the detective, her friends convince her to go on a dating site. She's matched with the former fiance. That turns into a crazy part of it's all when it's Harlan Coben, it's all tied together. But he does disappearance, missing persons. It's a great, quick, it's not anything that's going to win a Golden Globe Award. But if you like the Harlan Coben mystery series on Netflix, it's worth your time. I found it enjoyable. It was quick. I couldn't wait to get to each scene. Highly bingeable. I recommend it. Missing You on Netflix.
I will say, Rhea, that just going by the Golden Globes, nobody knows who's going to win a Golden Globe at this point. It's just apparently
No.
random. So it might win one, but that sounds really good. And yeah, Harlan Coben, I love when writers make a lot of money. That's good for me.
Oh, he's making ton. And I just bought so funny that I did this because I was at the bookstore this week and I bought a Harlan Coben book because I'm a huge fan of his books. So
There you go.
he does great shows and great books.
And Angelo, your video is frozen, but are you there? I don't believe he
I
He
is.
am
got the top of his head.
here. My Wi-Fi.
Oh, Angelo's cutting in and out. Oh, he just dropped
Ah,
out. So you know what? I'm going to do my pick real fast,
yes.
and then I'm sure he'll come back into the thing.
Jay, what I suggest you do is when the show's over, call him and yell at him for his Wi-Fi dropping. He always calls Jay and yells at him. This is too highly amusing. I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, well, it'll still be my fault somehow, Rhea. I don't know. But there is a show on Netflix, and it's called the Elvis '68 Comeback Tour. It's a documentary about it, and I just want to bring up it was great. I really liked it. I'm a big Elvis fan, and it was a ton of behind the scenes footage. It was Elvis at his peak attractiveness. They had a whole bunch of big stars come in, everybody from Baz Luhrmann, the guy who directed the Elvis movie, to Conan O'Brien for some reason, talking about like what it feels like to go
Bizarre.
up in front of, a massive audience. And it was great. But I want to bring up, I don't know if you've ever downloaded movies to your iPad or your iPhone
Oh yeah.
from
Oh,
Netflix.
absolutely. Yeah.
They have a thing. Oh, there's Angelo. He's back.
There's Edge.
Angelo, Rhea suggested I call you
Are you
and
on a boat? Jay?
Yes, I am on a boat. And he
And it's totally fine. Like I think your
We had
bandwidth,
a
it keeps
problem
saying
again
on
with
my screen, your bandwidth is low.
and listen, it happens to every guy. That's what I've heard.
Well, I've done 7 podcasts this week, Rhea. I've done 7 podcasts this week in the past 7 days, and there has not been one frozen, one issue of any kind. But none of them were on a friggin' boat.
That is true. I am in the Panama Canal currently, so it might be
Some of the
the invasion that's being planned by the United States into Panama. But just to finish what I was saying, Rhea, the thing that was interesting is I got this because Netflix downloaded it for me automatically, and
No, I don't like that. No,
I thought
no.
that was interesting. I know it's kind of frustrating to people, but I
No,
could have done it.
iPhone did that with that U2 album several years ago, and I could never get rid of it. And it was a terrible album. Now, let me choose what I want to download to my own devices. No, I don't
Well,
like that
I
at all.
found it because of it. I recommend it highly, and I usually don't like stuff like that, but I'll just say I'm happy that Netflix did that for me. Thank you for that. Now, that being said, let's finish out the show. Angelo, what do you got for us this week? Now, Rhea, when I get yelled at by Angelo
yeah,
about this, you
the
have to
big
tell
thing is
him it's working great for us.
Are you there, Edge?
I dropped
No.
out. I'm going to get yelled at so much.
The audience to know that Jay is going to get screened at, but I'm fine. Jay's fine. It keeps coming across my screen that his bandwidth is low.
Yes.
So,
I don't know what's going on. So I guess we're just going to end out the show there. And if Angelo
yes.
calls back, I'll tack it on at the end. Oh boy, this is not going to be a fun phone call. But hey, there are sometimes issues that happen. I think that honestly, I was worried about it, but I feel like the bandwidth was really good for us. Um,
You were freezing in the beginning,
oh, okay. All right.
and then you stopped, but he's going to he's going to blame it totally on you. So I just
Yeah.
want you to be prepared.
I understand. And maybe next time we do one of these things, it'll just have to be you and Angelo so that you can get yelled at if it's bad.
Yes.
Uh, but all that being said, let me just say thank you everyone for listening. Make sure you visit our sponsor, IHateStevenSinger.com, or go to the other corner of 8th and Walnut. Also, make sure you download Angelo Cataldi's book, Loud, at audible.com or amazon.com or angelocataldi.com, anywhere that you get your books. And sorry for the technical difficulties, but sometimes these things happen. And I don't want to go on these boats. In my best world, I'm not on a boat. It's just my children are so hungry, Rhea. They keep asking me for food. So that's why we need more people to come on and listen to the show so I can stop doing these things. And we'll call it a show there. And we'll call Angelo after this. Rhea, I need you to call Angelo and tell him it's not my fault this time, please, because I don't
I
want
will
to.
call him. You know how many times I've done this?
Yeah, absolutely.
I managed everybody around Angelo.
Yeah, it just
So
we'll need to do that. Anyway, we'll be back next week, hopefully, with more great TV content.